sorry for the disconnect. The Zoom is a bit weird, but yeah. Anyways, so I believe you just finished with the adjective in that report. So yeah, you should try to use these sentence forms while using your speech on these how often type of questions, as they are very good. They're very good to answer, and that's what the examiner is looking for these types of questions actually. So yeah, it, now, now there's also very specific words that you could use. So yeah, once in a blue moon is actually a really interesting one because you can use it instead of saying rarely, saying it from time to time. But yeah, so for example, all the time, on time is a very good, very. So you could also use the ones that are not specific, such as all the time, every once in a while, from time to time, etc. But you can also use, for example, on a daily basis for questions like, do you brush your teeth? Or how often do you brush your teeth? Or how often do you shower? Or something like that. Even though it's basic things, it might actually something like that. Or on a regular basis, which is a bit less than on a daily basis, but you can still use them. Now, you can also use once a month, twice a month, or 3 times a month, which is also a bit less consistent. But yeah, these are some terms that you should remember for your speaking, for your second part. So yeah, let's go. All right. So, so most of the time you would use one of these important words, for example, all the time, and you add your subject and then your verb. So for example, all the time I go to work by bus. However, that doesn't really sound as natural as saying the clause first and then your important word. So for example, I go to the work by bus all the time. See how the second example is way more consistent and sounds better, more natural than the first one? You should use the first one. You should use the second one, which means you write the clause first and then the word. But it's okay if you do the other way around. It's still valid. Grammatically, it's still valid. It just sounds a bit weird. All right. So, now, all right. So now we have now this form of answer is slightly different than the other. So you should say, you should say I do it a lot, I do it a little bit, etc. I do it frequently. I rarely do it. I do it once a month. I do it something. I don't know. It depends on the question. But you should say I do it at what frequency in the first step. So for example, let's say how often do you shop? I would say I sometimes go shopping with my friends or something like that. And then we will have two ways of answering this. It depends on you saying you do it a lot or you don't do it a lot. If you have, in case you say you do it a lot, you need to explain why you do it a lot. And usually you would say a benefit of doing it a lot. So for example, if I say I frequently go shopping almost every day, I need to say why I do shopping a lot. Well, I don't actually shop a lot, so I can't really give any ideas. But for example, let's say an idea of health, right? I exercise every day to keep fit, right? You could say that for health. You can say get into shape, keep in shape. Again, I will send these into this group chat. So yeah, I will have a file consisting of every single important thing that you guys will need to remember during these first two parts. So yeah. Now again, to answer these questions, you would like to answer it as to why you do it all the time. They want to know, oh, if you brush your teeth every day, why do you brush your teeth every day? You should explain that to the examiner, for example. Now, if you do it rarely, right? If you if you do it rarely, then you need to explain why you don't do it a lot. Maybe you're busy. Maybe you're poor. Maybe you're not fit enough to do it. Maybe you have some kind of issue. I don't know. It depends on the question. But you need to explain to the examiner why you don't do it a lot. Why you do it once in a blue moon. Are you poor? Sorry. Do you have not enough money? Do you have something important to attend every day? Maybe school could be a good reason, etc. So yeah. All right. So, for example, you can have a question as how often you go to the gym. So if I hit this is a decent simple question. I hit the gym on a daily basis. It can help me to get into shape and to be stronger by burning redundant calories and building up muscle. It's a simple question. It's a simple answer. And yeah, I would and yeah, you should answer a little bit longer than that. But in part one, the thing that the examiner cares most about is knowing the basic information about you and seeing and basically just treat them like a normal conversation in part one. Okay, part one you should treat it as a conversation, like with a friend, for example. If you're talking to a friend and they ask you like, "Oh, you go to the gym often?" You should answer something like that. Don't be too informal, but just talk to like a new friend that you've made, something like that. Yeah, treat. Actually, a tip that we give is that either one, you treat the examiner as a friend, or two, you treat the examiner that they owe you money, so that you don't feel fear. Because you know you don't really fear to the people that owe you money. So if you have a bit of anxiety, try to imagine that the examiner owes you money, or just imagine that they're a friend. I know it may not help, but to the people that it does help, it helps. Okay. So yeah, that's a tip that I could give if you do face anxiety during the exam. Because talking to people, especially during the exam, is really scary. I understand that, and yeah, that's what some people have recommended, and I tried it once. It also helps a bit. So yeah, now now, there you could if so in this term, right? In this example, you could say you hit whatever the place is. Usually, you would say you hit the gym. It's a really common expression, but you could say hit the place as well, hit a place as well. That is also valid. It's just that hit the gym is so common that it's basically what it's used for. So yeah, usually you would say hit the gym, okay? But you could use hit the cinema, hit the shopping mall, hit the library, etc. So now, now, uh, I will answer this question of the cinema. So I'll answer is that uh no, I barely go no, I barely go to the cinema nowadays. Um, because in recent days we have streaming services which do not cost an arm and a leg to attend, and also they are much more convenient as I can enjoy them in the comfort of my own home. Yeah, so that would be a sample answer for how do you often go to the cinema. See, I have answered the way that they want, as I have explained. Oh, I don't really go to the cinema. And why do I not go to the cinema? I explained why. I use streaming services instead of going to the cinema. And I've explained why streaming services are more, better than the cinema to me. Okay? Again, there isn't any true thing in speaking, in IELTS speaking. In IELTS speaking, anything you give is an answer, and there's no correct answer. Unlike listening and reading. Those two have right answers. You can write anything, and IELTS speaking is a right answer to you. Okay, answer to yourself. Don't think about the crowd. Answer to your own feelings. If you like something that many people hate, just say you like it. They won't judge you for it. They only judge you on the way you answer and what you answer it as. They will not judge you for the way you. They will not judge you for your answer itself. That's an example of a bad examiner. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, you can also say you can also use some of these words related to movies. Anyways, now learning this information, would anybody like to try some sample questions? Uh, I've. Would anybody like to give some sample questions? Oh no, would anybody like to answer these sample questions? Anyone? If you want, you can turn on your microphone, by the way.
Um,
Yeah.
although although I really like listening to music, I only listen to music occasionally because usually I'm busy with my studies, and also my mom doesn't let me listen to music much because she says it's I don't know, it's not good for me. I'm not sure why.
Okay. Yeah, that is a decent answer to the question, actually. You did provide that you don't really listen to music a lot, and you proved to the examiner that you don't listen to it a lot. Yes. Lucy, you can turn your mic on.
Yes, to my honest, I sometimes listening to music because when I listen to music, I can consciously do my homework better, more than 50% than doing my homework while I'm not listening to music.
All right. Yeah, that is actually a good question. That's actually a good answer. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can answer, please.
I
Get my
rarely listen to music though. To be honest, I do not like listening to music very much.
um I think you just disprove yourself. So you didn't really give enough reasoning as to why you really listen to music. I'm not really sure what you said, but like it sounded like you're trying to go against yourself. But yeah, please try next time. Try to elaborate as to why you don't listen to music. Like why do you not like music? Why do you not? Well, why do you not listen to music a lot? Is it because you don't like it, or is it because you do, but something doesn't allow you to? Try to answer something like that. Uh,
Oh, I normally do not like music much, but I rarely listen to music because normally I go hear a little fast on my radio. My radio does not have any music, and my father and my mother always use a computer and the phone.
Um, that is a decent answer, actually. You have said that you have a lot of restraints, so you can't listen to music. That is a slightly valid answer to this question. Whoever's been raising their hand, you can answer too if you want to. No pressure though. Uh, all right. All right. Let's continue to some other questions if you guys want to. Um, if you guys want, I could make some of these questions homework, and you could tell your parents to send voice recordings of yourself to me, maybe. But I'm not really sure yet. But yeah, you should try to answer some of these questions as practice for these questions. I will send the first set of questions too. But yeah, that's really it, guys. That's the first two sections done of part one. We still have eight more. So yeah, please be ready as I will be throwing a lot of stuff to you guys in the next two classes. So be mentally prepared because part one is even though part one I say is the easiest, it has a lot to remember. Part two and part three are more free because you have no idea what the question is. But part one, you need to prepare for it. You need to mentally prepare for it. Okay. So yeah.
Lord, yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah, thank you guys for participating to the lesson. I really, really love teaching you guys. I hope I see you guys next week, I'm assume. I'm not sure yet. But yeah. Um yeah, I really hope yeah, okay, I'll send those questions as homework then. Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, yeah. If you guys have any questions about the speaking part one, you can always ask me right now or in the group chat. I will
I'm
probably answer. But
done.
yeah,